Just capture the guy and burn him. What's so hard about that? Just catch him and burn him. Hi everyone, welcome to 52 Weeks of Horror, where we are making that scary, and today we are going to Netfix the 2006 version of The Wicker Man. Now this was based on the 1973 film by the same name. This one, though, stars Nicolas Cage, Burstyn, Francis Conroy, and yeah, this one suffers from an identity crisis. It's part psychological thriller, mystery, there's some horror film, I guess, to it, and then comedy. I don't think it's supposed to be a comedy, but there's just parts that are funny. Yeah, they're funny. But like all things, there's some good ideas, there's some bad ideas, so let's start off with the positives. First, there's a pretty good cast to it. You know, it's got Burstyn from The Exorcist. It's got Francis Conroy, who is, she's appearing right now in American Horror Story, so always cool. My favorite is when she's the Angel of Death. Even there's James Franco. He plays a bit part in this movie. And then we have Papa Nicky. Now, Nicolas Cage is good when he is being subtle and subdued, but when he goes crazy and all cagey, it's weird. It's weird. Yeah. He's weird. We love him, but he's weird. It comes from some good source material. It was based off a book called The Ritual. And this is a remake of a 1973 film which had Christopher Lee. The man, the myth, the legend, Saruman, Dracula, Frankenstein, amazing. I have to admit, I have not watched the 1973 film because it's not on Netflix. If it does come on Netflix, we'll watch it and we will do the same thing. Or at least I will tell you whether or not this is worse or better than the original. And now for the negatives. Jump scares. I don't like jump scares. We all know jump scares are kind of cheap. But what's worse is when they're in dream sequences. And what's messed up about this film is that there's dream sequences within dream sequences.
God damn it!
It's a dream. It was a dream within a dream. It was inceptioning itself before inception. Oof. Now, I don't know a whole lot about being a cop. I've never been a cop. I don't write cop stories because I don't know enough about being cops. But holy crap, I do know enough that he's doing things that are against the law in this movie. Okay? Yeah. The writers make him to be a terrible cop. I mean, things that I know you can't do as a cop, he's doing. I mean, he is breaking and entering. He is assaulting people. He is doing a lot of stuff. And I guess if you want to write a mystery film, you have to have the protagonist break a rule of theirs. Like, for example, okay, Chinatown, right? If you watch Chinatown, Jack Nicholson's character, Jake Gittes, right? He's going on the hunt. He's trying to figure out, who murdered Mulray, who set him up, what is the larger conspiracy, right? And his one rule is he doesn't want to go to Chinatown. Does not want to go to Chinatown. And by the end of the film, he has to break his own rule to solve the crime, right? The movie Brick, same thing. The guy is trying to be good, but he has to become, in a sense, a drug dealer, briefly, break his own rule to solve the crime. Nicolas Cage never really sets up a rule for himself. He just breaks the law. And that's not good. This film is attempting to bring Nicolas Cage onto the island so that they can then sacrifice him to the gods so that they can have another bee harvest. It is the most convoluted plan I have ever seen. They try to keep him away so that he stays longer. They have this child of his that's there, and they keep hiding her. I guess they're hiding her, and they're all constantly lying to him just to keep him there, to keep looking, just so that he can find her, so they can capture him, and she can burn him. Just capture the guy and burn him. What's so hard about that? Just catch him and burn him. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Why you have to go through, oh, his here, he's got to find here, and then he's got to go here, and then we're going to put him in this tank of water just so that we can let him out, just so that he's seduced by his ex-girlfriend, wife person, and then ex-fiancé, just so that he can be double-crossed by the end? Get to the point. Catch him, burn him. It. Done. Movie over. 15 minutes. We're good. One thing they don't really explain is the other years, right? So we see there's a scene where Nicolas Cage comes down and he sees all these little girls' pictures where they're all like within this circle, and they're, I guess, sacrificed to the harvest god. So are these girls not sacrificed? Are they burning Wicker Men every year? Are they killing kids every year? Are they just sacrificing the dolls? Are they burning the... It doesn't make any sense. Nothing is ever explained. Papa Nicky's running around being all crazy, trying to figure things out, but he's not figuring things out. He's just running around acting crazy. I mean, half the time I want to just catch him and burn him. Let's break this down. All right, let's see if we can try to fix this movie, The Wicker Man. And so we have to go back to their log line. And I got this one off of IMDb, so I wrote this one down. A sheriff investigating the disappearance of a young girl from a small island discovers there's a larger mystery to solve among the island's secretive neo-pagan community. Okay, that's it. I mean, that's what the story they told, and they told it in the poorest, worst way I think you could have ever played that story. But let's see if we can fix this, right? So first of all, he's like a cop. He's like in the country too, which is weird. Like, he says he's from California, but he's in the country. I mean, he's never. So let's take him out of the country and put him into the city, right? So when he does actually go to this place, he's very out of touch. He doesn't know what's going on. He's out of place. He's a fish out of water, in a sense. So let's plop him in the city, right? There's this whole opening scene with this girl in a car, mom and girl in the car, and the semi comes along and smashes. Comes out of nowhere, but whatever. I don't know if this was part of the grand plan, if the gods are basically, oh, you're now going to see illusions. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. All right, so let's get rid of that. Just scrap that whole part. Let's just make it a city cop accidental shooting of a child, right? Or someone. It doesn't have to be a child. It can be someone. So let's just make it an accidental shooting, okay? So, and because of that, there's an investigation, and he is then sent to the country where maybe he can de-stress because the city is just too much for him, right? And then within that, he can then discover, or he then begins to sense a plot. Maybe someone mentions, like, oh, this island is weird. You know, they do child sacrifice. He then has to get to the island and then figure out the rest of it. You know, let's make it more of a mystery for him to solve, and let him solve something, right? Let's get answers. The entire time in this movie, he keeps asking questions and nothing happens. Let him find some stuff out. So based on this, let's create a new log line for him, right? So here we go. Here's a new log line for the Wicker Man. First of all, let's also change his name, because it's like Edward Malleus, or Malice, which is just weird, because it's like play on words of bad phallus, which is weird. So let's see. Let's go back to the source material and get that name. So David Hanlon is the character in the source material. So the new logline could read: City cop David Hanlon is sent to the country after an accidental shooting, but when he finds the remains of a little girl in an apparent ritualistic murder, he must discover and learn that sacrifices have to be made before the Wicker Man festival. So that could be a theme for the movie, right? Sacrifices have to be made. After the accidental shooting, another cop trying to comfort him maybe says something to the fact of, we all have to make sacrifices. You know, sacrifices have to be made, and this is what happens when you are trying to uphold the law. So there's that. And then that can be reiterated by other members of the community once he gets there, about sacrifices, that sacrifices have to be made. So we keep leading up to the sacrifice, and so he is trying to find out what the sacrifice is going to be, and that this little girl is the sacrifice, but ultimately we find out that he is the sacrifice, that he is the sacrificial lamb going to his doom. But I feel like at least that would be a better film. Get rid of some of that weirdness. The bees plot, get rid of that. You know, just make it a straight detective film. You know, there doesn't have to be this weird magic, this weird, I'm seeing things in the dark. There's enough darkness there to make it scary. You don't need to have visions of little girls getting run over by semi-trucks. It's not necessary. You know, there's enough darkness within human nature that we can make it scary. You don't need that. And the bees.
Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah! Oh, my eyes! My eyes! Ah! Ah!
Oh, God, no. Not the bees. Not the bees. And get rid of some of that crappy CGI. Ugh. It's terrible. Terrible. I feel like a curmudgeon. Get rid of that damn CGI. It's terrible. Anyway, that's how I would fix the Wicker Man. Tell me in the comments below how you would fix it. You know, if you are a screenwriter, if you write stories of any sort, if you just like movies and you want to know why something didn't work for you, you know, this is a good exercise. Watching a bad horror film and seeing where it went wrong. Okay? So, anyway, don't forget to keep making that scary, and I'll see you next time. Bye.